Good afternoon from Yummy B TV. Wishing you all well, sending plenty of love your way as usual. I was just going to say on a bitterly rain-soaked day, but now the sun's come out. It hindered my movements this morning. But I've got a couple of videos to do anyway, and starting with this one. And it's quite a good one that you've been asking me to do for quite some time now, mixed with a story, of course. And the topic is walking onto a Category A wing for the first time. Now, in this particular video, we're talking about the kind of behaviours that you're going to be portraying or showing out as soon as you step onto a Category A wing. A wing where a lot of men have been there a long time, where there'll be 3 or 4 figures that probably run the wing in that kind of way, if you get what I mean. Now, the first question I'm going to ask, I'm going to say, right, is if you walk onto a wing in the cat's like that in the first few days, like big muscles, your behaviour suggesting that you're pretty hard, you're outside the office arguing so people can hear what you're saying, so you could be doing it through fear. It might be because you fancy yourself a little bit, that you know you can have a row, that you might be a household name. But hold on, the question you're asking me is that what if they're not known? If they're not known and they're walking on the wing with their big muscles out and showing out, so to speak, yeah, and cutting their eyes at people, they call it getting G-checked today, which means certain men are going to want to test you out to see if you're exactly how your actions and your personnel and your body language are suggesting, right? And you can get easily found out, and many have done in the times that I have been in those places. Now, it's all right for me, right? So if I go to certain places and I'm known already, so they know my character, and word would spread that I'm there, and oh, Yami knows this one and that one and that one. You get, it's a bit more. So that's because I'm in the mix and I've been doing a lot of badness and I'm carrying on doing a lot of badness. If you're turning up in a place and nobody knows you and you're showing out badness and all that, no one's really going to take you that seriously. There'd be a few shrinking violets who might just say, well, he looks kind of big and all of this particular incident, right? This first one example was a geezer from Birmingham, right, 16, 17 stone, probably the best physique that I have ever seen in a prison system. His name's A. We'll say AK, right? Kind of cool geezer. I got on well with him in the end, right? But yeah, and his face is like kind of angry. He's not really talking to. But Andy Shack lady decides to G-check him, to test him out. Now, the good thing about some of those men that we talk about on Yummy B TV is they're not going to pick on little targets. It's more than likely they're going to look for a big target to release their frustrations, whether they want to have a fight, or maybe they might even in themselves think, oh, you think you're going to step onto my wing and want to be taken over my patch. Not saying that was the reason on this particular day, but G-checked and tested out is what he got, right? Andy Shatley pulls him at the door. He decides, what? Wrong thing to do. You go, it doesn't even go, it's not even Andy Shacks' cell. Andy Shacks goes into his cell, crack, 2 or 3 punches, you're on the bed, folded up. He was much bigger than Andy Shack, but of course, to those kind of guys, size ain't really going to matter, because they got size anyway, and plus they can fight as well, right? So what it does, it sets the stall out for you now to come in unstuck during those early stages of your stay in the categories. There are many men now are going to think that you might be a bit of that and not all that at all, and they might think, even though you're big now, we can all take liberties with you. It's a shark's jungle, really, where all the predators are waiting for moments of weaknesses. Yeah, I say sometimes some people look in the mirror at their physiques and think that's enough to show out that, I've got all my muscles in there. But you might believe in what you are to a certain extent, or you might not. You might know that you're not really that hard. Like I say, fear could play a part in it. Or you're used to being around a certain men where that can kind of work. And they're thinking, wow, he's a bit strong, like It's different clientele and different calibers and lower stated categories before you get to the category A's. But unfortunately, If you're going to go on like that, you will come unstuck. Even if you did know a few people, you still wouldn't really want to be walking around like that. My advice is, of course, would always be if you are going there, and I hope that you're not, and you stay away from that life. But the best way to do it is just be yourself. Don't try and show out of anything. The greatest men were always the quiet ones that, you know what I mean, just carry themselves proper. And whether they knew anyone or not, they'll just come on the wing, lean over the railings, ask a couple of questions, and then just keep it moving. No showing out or pretending to be something they're not or something that they are. That would be my best advice of how to do it. And you win more respect that way, because when you do it that way, when you first go in, you're underneath the radar. You're not coming into other certain you know, where the pond is, where all the mix is with all the madness that goes on. You're away from the radar, out of sight of those guys that are in the mix like me and some of those major figures. They won't notice you, so then you won't come to the attention to get yourself into trouble. And I say that the physique, I used to do it when I was little. When I first got my physique, I was thinking, yeah, well, I got my physique, I walk around with my top off and all that, right, in the early days. But, you know, certain experiences always led me to believe, no. It's all right, you believe in that it might be a deterrent for some men, that you got a physique, yeah? Without people seeing you fight. So, oh, he's got a great physique, that means he can fight. These are people that don't really understand what it really means. But I learned very early on, you're going to need more than just having your physique to get you through, because you will be tested, and you have to know, if you're going to be involved in badness and being in the mix, you have to know what you're capable of doing, mate. Many men know what they're capable of doing, but they're not in the mix. So it all depends on how you carry yourself, whether you want to be in the badness and be in the thick of it, so your name gets rung everywhere and you think you're going to go down in the holy grail and the glorious tales of the catAs, or you hold your corner and just cool, and if it comes your way, then you defend it. That's what I call a real secure man, if you get what I mean. So yeah, I hope I broke that down properly, but that was how, that's the example that you asked me to give on this particular video. I'll be up again in a little while.